The Naz Show on SG1 Radio.
Wishing you all a very good afternoon. You are tuned into SG1 Radio right here, right now with me, Naz, between now and 4 o'clock. I hope you all are very well and keeping safe. It's Black Friday weekend. It's quite a weird weekend for me, especially because I know every Black Friday weekend or every sale time, I am usually one of those to raid the shopping malls and everything. But this year, things are very different. The pandemic, of course, and it's affected so many businesses. The only thing I have to say is, particularly with the festive season coming around, why not try investing more local? Try and help out our small businesses and those who really need our help right now. That, I think, would be great. So I think this year, perhaps let's do something a bit different. So between now and 4, I have a really jam-packed show lined up for you. I've got music of all genres playing, which I'm so excited. I've got 2 fantastic guests joining us as well. But what I'm going to do is let's start off the show with a song, and I'm going to start off the hour with Late Night Convos by Mr. 6 Feet Evangelist. Enjoy this one, and I'll be back very shortly with a guest, Andy Baker, who will be joining me virtually in the studio to talk about an upcoming careers event. So stay tuned. But for now, let's go into our first song of the hour, Late Night Convos by Mr. 6 Feet Evangelist.
Me and my brother Joe, we got a lot of goals. We gonna make it big worldwide, doing shows. Even COVID can't stop us, you already know. So still we putting in work till the day we blow, and still we putting in work till the day we go off to a better place. But for now it's the race that we run and set the pace, cause we gotta elevate the minds of the people. So let me demonstrate. Life's short, don't be led astray. While young, find God, that's the better way. Before you get old and no longer wanna know about anything spiritual that can bless your soul. Not religion, it's relationship. Like when you find the one that you can be relating with, you forget all others and just focus on them. Do that with God, he'll be with you to the end.
Said you wanna go away. Tell me where would you like to? Guess it's one of those days. You wanna go and I got you. Each time we riding, feels like the first time. And most days and most nights I can't sleep the whole time.
Every day I thank God for you. Such a beauty, such a cutie, so wonderful. Your parents must be proud of the way they raised you. Try again, man, I'm sure they couldn't make you. Cannot replace you in my life. You're a friend, you're a queen, you could be my wife. Can you stand with me and be by my side? If so, baby, let's go for a ride. Ready to die like Christ did. For my bride, any price, yes, I'll pay. On the 3rd we rise, it's a new day. Love shared multiplies times 2, baby. So let me show you. You look way too fine not to know you. But before that time I put a ring on your hand. Look nowhere else cause you know I'm the man.
Said you wanna go away. Tell me where would you like to? Guess it's one of those days. You wanna go and I got you. Each time we riding, feels like the first time. And most days and most nights I can't sleep the whole time. That you know that I love you. hope that you know that I got you. You know that I don't wanna leave you. You know that I cannot replace you. Cause I know I got on, and you know you got me too. Baby, there's no one compared, cause it's only me and you. Said you wanna go away. Tell me where would you like to? Guess it's one of those days. Wanna go and I got you. Each time we riding, feels like the first time. And most days the most nights, can't stay the whole time. Said you wanna go away. Tell me where would you like to? Guess it's one of those days. Wanna go and I got you. Each time we riding, feels like the first time. Most days the most nights, can't stay the whole time.
Are you okay? Girl, you have no idea the day I've had. What happened? Tell me.
Right, so that was Late Night Convoys by Mr. Seeks, the Evangelist. I absolutely love this, and wow, what a nice one that was. Thank you, Ivan Tiago, for giving me this song. So I do have a guest today with me, and today my guest is HR Manager Andy Baker, joining me virtually in the studio today to talk about their upcoming careers event, Generation Stevenage. So let's say a big hello to Andy. Andy, how are you doing?
Very good, Naz. Yourself? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Can you hear me well? I know this before.
No, I can. Loud and clear. Thank you.
Fantastic. Oh, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolute pleasure.
And I'm really excited to talk about Generation Stevenage. So can you tell us a bit about what Generation Stevenage is?
I can, Naz. Yeah, it's really exciting for us. We did something about like 2 years ago with local companies, same companies that we're doing for on the event on Tuesday. It's a great opportunity, we felt, as a collective of companies, world-class companies in Stevenage, just to come together and reach out to young people between the ages of 15 to 18 and give them and parents and carers and teachers and advisors just a chance to understand a little bit about what we do behind the walls. People drive past us all the time, I'm sure, and think, what the hell do they do there? I've no idea. This is a great opportunity for people to come along, listen to the business talk about what they do, talk about us and all our apprentices and what they do, what their pathways were, and just bring to life apprenticeships. And the benefits and the fantastic opportunities and pathways they provide.
Brilliant, and I think it's something that we really need right now as well, actually. So Generation Stevenage, this is the careers event, I'm assuming, and it's going to be taking place, is it on 1st of December?
1st of December, yeah, 6 o'clock start until 7:35 to be really precise. For people that want to sign up, we're looking to reach out to up to 1,000 local people. So the more the merrier as far as we're concerned. It's a free event, as you can imagine. But people just need to go into the to register on www.hopinto.co.uk. Type in Generation Stevenage and all the details will be hopefully self-explanatory for Tuesday.
Oh, brilliant. And also in terms of the job opportunities, so location-wise, so are the employers going to be from a range of locations around Hertfordshire, or is it going to cover cities across like London and Cambridge? Yeah,
really good question. We get asked all the time now. So thankfully for everyone listening to SG1, I'm sure, it's for people in Stevenage and surrounding areas. So that's sort of, I would say, 15, 20-mile radius of Stevenage. Just to give you an idea of the companies, and some you may know of, some people may not know, but there's 5 main companies. So you've got myself at MBDA, you've got Airbus, you've got GSK, you've got the NHS, which is doing a fantastic job at the moment, as we all appreciate, and a company called Catapult. So yeah, many companies, many world-class companies they can talk to.
Oh, that is really great, actually. And in terms of the age group that has been targeted, are you able to confirm the age group that you are looking at who would be more suitable to attend this careers event?
Yeah, I guess it's open to as many people that want to know what their career pathways could look like, as in all honesty. We've targeted this primarily around the 15 to 18 age group. So those that are kind of going towards or in their GCSE age group, A levels, and people that may be studying at college as well. So that's the perfect type of age group, I would suggest. But if you're maybe 14, if you want to know a little bit more about what we do, then dive in. The more the merrier, as far as we're concerned.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. And the areas of the job opportunities, as in the fields. So am I correct to think it will cover areas like healthcare and engineering?
Absolutely. I mean, essentially it's STEM and health. So that's, for those that don't know what STEM stands for, it's science, technology, engineering and maths, and health as well. Some of the companies I've mentioned will have their fingers in maybe 3 or 4 of those areas. Some are dedicated to health only, NHS, good example, I guess. But as a collective of 5 companies, we cover all of those areas. So science, technology, engineering, maths and health.
Oh, that's really great. And how many years have you been holding this event? I assume in the past you would have had it in person, but this year...
Strange times. Yeah, 2 years ago we had the first event, which is incredibly successful. And it actually gave us an appetite, actually, Naz, to say there's an appetite for people to want to know, have more information about apprenticeships and jobs in the local area. Apprenticeships compared to university, for example. And it gave us a bit of appetite to understand that people do want this information. They do need this information. Schools are brilliant at sharing this information about different pathways, but it just allowed businesses to kind of reach out and say, guys, we're here. We'd love to hear from you. We're crying out for people like you with the skills you've got. So come and talk to us. So this is our 2nd year. We missed last year, but this year in the virtual world is very different for us, Naz, I have to say. But we're confident it will be a very successful event, I have to say. Oh,
brilliant. And in terms of their requirements as well, are they looking to open the apprenticeships to a lot of people in the young category? Do they have education requirements for this or grade requirements?
Yeah, again, that's a difficult question to answer on behalf of all the other companies, because all their apprentices are very different to ours. Yeah. To give you a really brief synopsis of us, we recruit engineering apprenticeship or apprentices into the business apprentices, for example, specialist areas of engineering. But for us, typically in Stevenage, it typically would be A levels and BTEC students would typically come into our apprenticeship at Stevenage. But again, I don't want to say too much because I may be talking out of turn for Airbus, GSK, Catapult, and the NHS. So got to be a little bit careful. But come along on Tuesday, you'll find out loads of information about the entry requirements.
Oh my God, that is really brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Andy, for talking to us here on SG1 Radio.
Absolute pleasure.
Definitely given a really good insight of Generation Stevenage, and given the current scenario as well with the whole COVID, and loads of people have been losing their jobs, and young people have been particularly very confused about how their future is going to shape up. So I think it's come at a very good time. And I think
just to add to that, there's just one point, if I may, on that, because it's really important for me personally. There's been a lot of bad press, I guess, in terms of what the future looks for young people in Stevenage and around surrounding areas because of COVID and the impacts financially on businesses. But the companies that we've mentioned, including MBDA, we're hopeful for the future. We're recruiting apprentices to the same numbers we did in previous years. So to give everyone hope and inspiration for the next 2 or 3 years, there's a lot of good news out there. So don't be fooled by it's all negative. Your future looks bleak. It looks really positive still.
Yes, fingers crossed. And yeah, I think what we can do now is just think very positive about what's happening now, and let's see it as a advantage maybe of now things are virtual. It's easier to access. So supposedly if you had to travel somewhere and you couldn't book time off from wherever you were, like at least now things are much more easier to access due to the virtual.
It's an opportunity for us as employers as well to see it as a positive opportunity to reach out to more people than we would face to face. So we've turned it into a positive, and this event just proves that we're going to go up to 1,000 people potentially. So it just shows that reach virtually is way higher than we can face to face, which is brilliant.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you so much, Andy, for joining us on Saturday. We wish you all the very best with your event. And yeah, I really do hope our listeners do take advantage of this opportunity, and it is not to be missed. So please do get involved. Thank you so much, Andy.
Thank you, Naz. Thanks for the opportunity, and take care. Hope to see everyone on Tuesday.
Oh, yes, that's a good point. Yes. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too, Naz. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God. So that is definitely a fantastic opportunity for all of you guys out there. Please do attend, the careers event, Generation Stevenage, because this will be, trust me, you never know what might be there for you lined up. And speaking of opportunities, actually, there is a PhD studentship that has arisen for students of BAME communities for English literature, English language, creative writing or film studies. And it's going to be at the University of Hertfordshire. University of Hertfordshire, that's where I went. And my sisters actually went there too. So this is just literally down the corner. And guess what? Well, the best part about this PhD studentship is that they will waiver the tuition fees for 3 years. So make sure you apply. And the last date to apply for this PhD studentship is by 7th of December. So get searching on the internet, go on to the University of Hertfordshire website, and you will get all the details there. So let's move on to our next track. The next track that I have lined up for you is a very soulful ghazal by my very favorite Tausif Akhtarji, and it is Had Se Guzar Na Jao, and I really hope you enjoy this one.
हद से गुजर न जाऊं मैं, ऐसा न कीजिए, ऐसा न कीजिए। ओ हद से गुजर न जाऊं मैं, ऐसा न कीजिए, ऐसा न कीजिए। हद से गुजर न जाऊं मैं, ऐसा न कीजिए। हद से गुजर न जाऊं मैं, ऐसा न कीजिए। मस्ती भरी निगाह से देखा न कीजिए, देखा न कीजिए। मस्ती भरी निगाह से देखा न कीजिए, देखा न कीजिए। पढ़ लेंगे लोग चेहरे से दिल की किताब को, पढ़ लेंगे लोग चेहरे से दिल की किताब को। इतना किसी के बारे में सोचा न कीजिए, सोचा न कीजिए। इतना किसी के बारे में सोचा न कीजिए, सोचा न कीजिए। मेरी नजर से आप कहाँ बच के जाएंगे, मेरी नजर से आप कहाँ बच के जाएंगे। मैं आईना हूँ आपका, पर्दा न कीजिए, पर्दा न कीजिए। मैं आईना हूँ आपका, पर्दा न कीजिए, पर्दा न कीजिए।
So that was an absolutely amazing ghazal, so beautifully sung by Tausif ji. In addition, can you believe it? He has a fantastic team of musicians who equally complement this ghazal. So if you are into ghazals like myself, please do tune into Sabrang International's special Jashan Celebrating Life series, which is a very beautiful music festival being streamed virtually and it's taking into all the safety measures. I believe there is one taking place tonight as well at 6 p.m. UK time. So please check Sabrang International's social media platforms for more info.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. SG1 Radio, right here, right now.
So now let's talk about the current housing situation. So how many of you are living at home with your parents, or are you renting out, or have you even bought your own house? Maybe are you considering to? I'll put my hand up. I'm actually living with my parents, and frankly speaking, the housing market really scares me in the sense I don't even know whether I'll ever be able to afford a house. And actually, I'm not the only one who thinks like that, I think, because there's a recent study which showed that around 44% felt confused. And also, they're really worried about the constantly changing deposit requirements and lender requirements too. So at the moment, on average, it takes around 5 years for first-time buyers to be able to save up for a deposit. And when I think that is actually quite scary. 5 years, wow. And, I don't know that if that is something that just sounds really realistic. And, on top of that, the pandemic has impacted home buying to quite a fair bit. So in towns like Stevenage, Hitchin, Baldock and Royston, did you know the average mortgage deposit for first-time buyers are around 52,000? That's actually quite high when you compare it with the other neighbouring towns in Hertfordshire like Welling, Hatfield and St Albans, where there's an average deposit of £21,000. It's quite strange considering those are considered to be apparently more richer areas of Hertfordshire. I don't know, maybe it's about a sign I should shift over there, maybe? I don't know.
Music to blow you away.
Station for the very best DJs from all around the world. Playing music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the best hits of today.
Sounding good. SG1 Radio.
Gosh, we are nearly halfway through the hour. Oh my God, it's just going really, really quick. I'm just like, oh my God, it is actually going really quick. So I'm going to just try and whiz through some of these news that we do have for you. And there was some sad piece of news that I heard not so long ago about a pedestrian, a woman in her 70s. She sadly passed away after she collided with a cyclist who was using a cycle path. So the cyclist, he also suffered some serious injuries and has been in hospital since. No doubt, it's been a very difficult period for both parties, I can imagine, and my thoughts go out to them and their families. And speaking about safety, I do want to really emphasize to my lovely listeners who are tuned in, when you're going out and about, please be careful. Please make sure you are safe. I know it's little things. When you're out, especially in the dark, when you're cycling, make sure you're wearing something quite bright. Make sure you've got the lights on the cycle so that you're visible to people as well. And also, you're wearing a helmet. That's really important. Always wear a helmet, please, when you're going out and about. And in general, if you're a pedestrian as well, because right now in the UK, obviously the days are much shorter. It gets dark at around 4 o'clock. And it is really important that we are keeping an eye out for ourselves and keeping everyone else safe as well. Not just in the mask style, but also road safety is really important. And speaking about road safety, next week I do have a guest with me to talk about road safety. So do watch this space, stay tuned. And, you know, I've just realised I think I might be echoing in this room today because it's quite empty because we've got a lot of painting going on in the house. So please bear with me. And I will be looking at perhaps to play our next song very shortly. But before I do that, do let me know what you guys are up to on this Saturday. How is it being for you in general? What are you doing to keep yourself busy? It's actually the last weekend of lockdown. Hertfordshire's made it to tier 2. Wow, that is quite impressive. I don't know what I'm to say actually at that. Yeah, so how are you spending your weekend? And the festive season is coming round actually. How are you planning to celebrate it this year? Seeing that the government has opened up for 5 days restriction free actually. So do let me know how it is going to be for you this year. Are you going to be celebrating with your families, either in person or virtually, or are you going abroad for Christmas this year? Or are you doing it by yourself? It'll be really nice to know what everyone's plans are for Christmas, how everyone's going to be celebrating it. I know this year has been a very weird year actually. So yes, if you are tuned in, give me a buzz. You know, you're listening to SG1 Radio right here, right now with me, Naz, the last 30 minutes. And we do have more music coming your way. I did promise this week we have a very different collection of music. We will be playing you music from South India, North India, and we're playing music from Pakistan as well. And I also have another guest joining me as well very shortly, which I hope so to join me very shortly actually. So yeah, do stay tuned. Just let us know what you're all up to. And please do bear with me with my echoey voice today because, yeah, the room is very empty today because of the painting work going on. So it is echoing, I think, which I just realised. But yeah, just let us know what you're up to. And we will move on to our next song. So my next song I have is with Vicky Chaudhry on the vocals, and it is Tu Har Jagah. So listen up for it very shortly, coming up on SG1 Radio, right here, right now with me, Naz. Take care, and the last 30 minutes it is.
तू पास मेरे नहीं है जुदा, तू धड़कनों में है दिल में बसा। तू पास मेरे नहीं है जुदा, तू धड़कनों में है दिल में बसा। मौला तू हर जगह, मौला तू हर जगह। अल्लाह तू हर जगह, अल्लाह तू हर जगह। सुबह की पहली किरण में है तू, रंगों से महके चमन में है तू। नदियाँ ये झरने तेरा नाम ले, तेरी अजमतों का ये पैगाम दे। मौला तू हर जगह, मौला तू हर जगह। अल्लाह तू हर जगह, अल्लाह तू हर जगह। ये शब सितारे सभी हैं तेरे, चमकते नजारे सभी हैं तेरे। रस्ते ये मंजिल तेरी शान है, लहरें ये साहिल तेरी आन है। मौला तू हर जगह, मौला तू हर जगह। अल्लाह तू हर जगह, अल्लाह तू हर जगह।
Wow, so what an awesome song that was. Absolutely loved it. So that was Vicky Chaudhary with Dil Har Jagah. Brilliant song. So yes, I promised I do have a lovely guest with me joining me today because this show in general, I think we've had a lot of positive news to share, and I'm really pleased to talk about the local restrictions support grant which has been introduced to help support those shops and retailers who have been forced to close as a result of the latest national lockdown. And today I am joined by Councillor Ian Albert, who is the Executive Member for Finance and IT and Chair for Hitchin and Council Tax Setting Committees. So Ian, how are you doing?
Good afternoon. Hi Naz, brilliant to see you and hear you.
Oh, brilliant to see you too. Thank you so much for joining us today here on SG1 Radio.
Thank you. No, that's great. It's great to be here and being with your listeners.
Oh, brilliant. So, Ian, can you please tell us a bit about the new grant scheme that has been introduced?
Yeah, well, it's probably worthwhile just touching. We've got a couple of grant schemes. We have got another grant scheme that went live yesterday. But if we start off with the local restrictions support grant scheme that went live just about a week ago now. We've paid several hundred businesses over £500,000 so far since the scheme started. North Arts Council officers have been working amazingly hard on this, and the scheme is primarily for people who pay and businesses who pay business rates. So if you're a business rate payer, you can get a payment for the 4 week during the national lockdown, which finishes next week. And it does depend upon your rateable value. This is the boring bit of your property, but very important in that sense. So you can get, if your rateable value is less than £15,000 or less, you can get £1,334. If your rateable value is 15,000 to 51,000, you can get £2,000 for that 4 week period. And when your rateable value is over 51,000, you can get £3,000 as a business for that 4 week period. And I think it's, this is certainly, they're not huge sums of money, but we think these are really valuable sums of money for small businesses across North Herts. Also, the same scheme will apply to businesses if you're covered by Stevenage Borough Council as well as those in North Herts District Council. You just apply to Stevenage rather than North Herts for those. You can find all the details about the scheme on the North Herts Council website, www.north-herts.gov.uk, or you could just type in business support grants North Herts Council into Google, and it comes straight up as the first choice. So we're really encouraging businesses to apply for that payment for the 4 weeks of lockdown, those who are business rate payers, and as I say, that will be I think a valuable support to them for that 4 week period. But as I say, we've paid out £500,000 so far, and we're really encouraging more businesses that haven't applied yet to put your application in. It's really simple. You just need a few details about your sort of ID, proof you were trading, your business rate, account bill, and away you go. The application can all be done online.
Brilliant. I think that's a fantastic grant that is definitely come into place, actually. And just to confirm, which kind of businesses will be eligible for this grant?
So for this scheme, all businesses that are entitled in this scheme, for businesses that were forced to close during the lockdown period, that those businesses are entitled to claim if they say have been mandated to close during lockdown. And there's a list of government restrictions on what businesses can and can't open. We had, for example, some queries last week about whether travel agents were required to close or not, and there was a bit of an absence of government advice about that. But we have actually paid several independent travel agents across the district last week, so I think that's helpful for them. But it's businesses that were mandated to close during the 4 week lockdown period. But there are further grants available for businesses that weren't able to claim, and I can, if we've got time today, Naz, I'm very happy just to run you through those ones as well.
That'd be great, thank you.
Yeah, so yesterday, again, you can find on the North Herts Council website, we've got something called the Additional Restrictions Support Grant. We've received a pot of money from government to do this. It is cash limited, but we've received a pot of money from government, and this scheme is available both to the ratepayers, business ratepayers that were affected by the lockdown but weren't entitled to help under the other grant scheme, i.e. they weren't forced to close. So clearly some businesses that weren't forced to close but could claim under this scheme, but also more particularly other businesses that don't pay business rates. So people like market traders, people who run businesses from home, maybe charities, shared office spaces, indeed obviously other businesses that support the retail, hospitality and leisure sector that weren't necessarily businesses that were forced to close but have been impacted by the lockdown. And if you're in that sort of category, someone who doesn't pay a business rate, or indeed someone who does pay a business rate but has been impacted by the 4 week lockdown period, this is the grant scheme for you. And you can apply under that scheme. We're really welcoming applications up to the 15th of December initially, and we're really encouraging businesses to put your applications in, and we will look to make sure that we try and make as many of these payments as possible before Christmas, after the close of applications on the 15th of December. But this covers a much wider range of businesses, and say, for example, market traders and people like that, people who run businesses from home, will all be entitled to claim under this scheme. So again, really encouraging and important for local businesses. We hope that this will help them in keeping their businesses afloat during this difficult time. and we're encouraging those businesses to put their applications in as soon as possible.
That is really good. Definitely what we need in this time as well. And just to confirm, when exactly will applicants be able to hear whether their grant has been successful or not?
So, as it's a good question. As it's a cash limited scheme, what we've decided to do is to get all of the initial batch of applications in by the 15th of December, and then we can see how many applications we've got, and then we can work out how much money we can afford to pay out of this cash limited pot of money we've got. So the aim is that we'll make all of these payments, or as many of these payments possible before Christmas. We're really keen to make sure the businesses that have been impacted in this way can make that claim and then can receive a payment from us before Christmas time, before the Christmas break. But I think it's also important to say, Naz, that in the light of developments that from last Thursday, when government announced that all of Hertfordshire was going to be in tier 2, then we are looking to see how we can further support businesses from this same pot of money. Because what we know is, I mean, for example, I know, for instance, some pubs that are not going to be able to open from the 3rd of December because they don't serve food, and that's a big constituent item. So we are looking to open up a further tranche of this scheme, which will help businesses from the 3rd of December that are still forced to close or are impacted by closure from the 3rd of December. So whilst obviously these two schemes initially for this first 4-week period of the national lockdown, we're absolutely aware that there's still going to be problems for businesses from the 3rd of December, when we're in Hertfordshire is in tier 2, and as I say, some businesses won't be able to open, and we want to be able to see if we can help those as well. So watch our website, and we will be opening up hope to open up a further tranche of applications in relation to that in the next week or two.
That is brilliant. And I know you mentioned that Hertfordshire has gone into tier 2 of the restrictions. Out of curiosity, did you think that after national lockdown that Hertfordshire would be going into tier 2, considering we were in tier 1 before? Just out of curiosity.
What you could see, I think, Naz, is that the way that although I think cases have actually dropped a bit in the last week, thank goodness, but you could see the way that the cases had, even in North Hertfordshire, which has been actually one of the lowest areas, and Stevenage as well, for that matter, have been one of the lower areas across the county in terms of the number of cases per 100,000. But even here, you could see the numbers of cases increasing to over 100 per 100,000. So it felt like, bearing in mind that some areas that were even higher than that across Hertfordshire, and we're all in it together in that sense, that this is the way we were going to be going. But I mean, the aim, hopefully, here is that we can get all of our businesses and all of those restrictions lifted as soon as reasonably can. But I suspect that may not now be till after Christmas. But clearly, we'll see how the numbers go in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I really hope so that we do see some sort of decline, and we can at least return to some sort of normality as well, whether it's in our personal lives or even economy as well.
Absolutely, and I think that's what we want to see as much as possible. And and I think it's important that I'm really hoping that people will support. I mean, I know it's very easy at the moment to be able to do so many things sort of online, but I do encourage residents of North Herts and Stevenage, to think about using and supporting your local businesses. Because if our local businesses are supported, and many of them have online offers as well, there's some great ways you can order books through local bookshops and so on a national basis. So I think I do really encourage residents to support your local businesses and traders in these really difficult times for everyone around the country, but particularly here in North Herts and Stevenage. And I think the value in having shops in our high street, independent shops in our high streets, like in Hitchin and Letchworth, Royston and Baldock, and in my district, but obviously in Stevenage and elsewhere, in other places around the county. The value of independent shops and independent traders, and the fact that all our high streets don't look exactly the same, is really so important. So really encourage people to support your local businesses in the next few weeks.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ian, for your time and speaking to us here on SG1 Radio as well. It's been really insightful as well to get to know about the opportunities there are for local businesses and retailers. And yeah,
my pleasure. And obviously, do come and obviously encourage businesses to look at our website, the www.north-hearts.gov.uk, with all this information is there. And obviously, people can also find me, through the website and so on. You can always email me as well. More than happy to help and help advise local businesses, and, as I say, really encourage people to support your local businesses in the coming weeks.
Absolutely, I think that's a very nicely put. And I really do encourage our listeners to take this into serious consideration. Well, Ian, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Lovely to talk to you, and best, and hope you and all the listeners have a great weekend as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks then. Bye.
Bye. That was a really lovely chat with Councillor Ian Albert, talking about the opportunities that we have for businesses and retailers in Stevenage and across Hertfordshire. So please do check what grant is applicable to you if you are really struggling during this second national lockdown that we've got. And speaking of, we're going to move on to our next song. And next up, I have Manavi Alakin Chaladeti from Mentor Madilo, sung by Pradeep Kumar, and music so beautifully crafted by Prashant Vihari, who I had the pleasure of interviewing a few months ago. I don't know if you remember, but if you missed it, you can always catch up on our social medias because it's still there. So yeah, let's move on to our next song.
అంటే స్వేచ్ఛ ఇష్టం అనేది అబద్ధం, స్వేచ్ఛ ఇష్టం అంటే రేణు ఇష్టం అనేది అబద్ధం. ఏదో ఒకటి. రెండు అబద్ధాలు అయ్యే ఛాన్స్ అయినా ఉంటుందేమో, కానీ రెండు నిజాలు పోవు.
ఏంట్రా చెప్పా పెట్టుకుంటూ ఊడిపడ్డావు? అక్కడ పని అయిపోయిందా లేకపోతే తరివేశారా? రేయ్ ఏమైంది?
What a wonderful song that was. I didn't understand the lyrics here, but it just sounds so awesome, and the background music is just wow. And if it's music by Prashant Vihari, then you can always imagine and expect a masterpiece, I think.
The Naz Show on SG1 Radio.
Literally, we are nearly coming to an end of the show. So some quick updates on the coronavirus situation. So the UK's R number, which represents the rate of transmission, is believed to be currently sitting between 1 and 1.2. And I'm sure you might have seen on the news that the American biotech company Moderna have come up with a potential vaccine, which is proved to be 95% effective. And it also appears that Pfizer have passed safety checks and is now apparently 95% effective for over 65s. And as we're aware, Oxford are also quite busy with their prep too. I know we're quite short with time, and perhaps we can discuss this more in detail next week. But what are your thoughts on the COVID-19 vaccine? Will you be getting yours done? Get in touch. You can call or text on 07368957043, or you can also send in your messages via our social media, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It would be a good idea to talk about this, I think, next week. So perhaps I'll put this on the agenda. Remind me if I forget this.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. SG1 Radio, right here, right now.
And also, I think it's really important for me to highlight this as well. And it's not because of pandemic, it's always throughout. But if you are someone or you know someone who is sadly going through domestic violence, but then the only thing I have to say is please do not suffer in silence. And I'm very serious about this. This is sadly something that can affect absolutely anyone at any time. And the Stevenage and Survivors Against Domestic Abuse, I promise you they can help you and they can ensure that the appropriate support is given to meet your needs and those of your family. And their work really does change lives. So please do contact them. As said, do not suffer in silence. And if you know someone who is going through domestic violence, then as a friend, as a family, it is your duty to please let them know that you're there for them and you can help them and direct them to the right place. No one should suffer in silence at all whatsoever.
Music to blow you away.
Station for the very best DJs from all around the world. Playing music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the best hits of today.
Sounding good. SG1 Radio.
Yes, it is that time of the hour where it is actually time for me to go. I did really enjoy this session and I hope you really did too, minus the echoey noise I'm giving today due to painting works going on in the house. But yeah, I'll be back again next week, same time, same place. So do watch the space, keep listening to SG1 Radio and keep watching SG1 Live because we do have some fantastic interviews going on the SG1 Live as well. So do watch us there. and it's Black Friday weekend. As said, please do try and help your local businesses. There's small retailers who are really, really struggling to get through this year. Please do take them into mind when you're shopping for your Christmas shopping as well. It will be really good to have as many local businesses still being around us when things open up again after lockdown. In the meantime, stay safe and stay well. And I will be finishing up the hour with Pinda Ale Jat, remixed by Connection Brothers and Vans Artists. Enjoy this one. Take care and see you all next week.
ਸੋਹਣੀਏ ਰਾਜਿਆਂ ਵਾਂਗੂ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੀ ਚੰਗਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਯਾਰੀ ਫਕਰੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਬੈਠੇ ਨੀ ਉਹ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਖੜਦੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕੱਖ ਨੀ ਪੱਤਾ ਲਹੂ ਤੇ ਪੁੱਠੀ ਮੱਤ ਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ